That is the point of being here, right? I mean, that is the point of being here.
All the world has fallen to Kairos, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior. In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tears sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
Conquest. During the conquest, you will decide your character's actions during Kairos' invasion of the Tears, shaping the world through which you will adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the Tears respond to you. Your decisions matter. Choose wisely. The Bastard City. Sounds like home. The Bastard City stood on the northern border between Kairos' empire and the Tears. Built upon a natural harbor at the crossroads between realms, the city was the nexus of commerce. To the Tears, it was the center of all wealth. To a northerner, it was little more than backwater trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it a natural first target in Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kairos' army. Taking this city would send a message to the rest of the Tears of Tears. Kairos' will is insurmountable. Wait, what side of this fucking fight are we on? Select a token to begin. Gates of Judgment. The armies of Kairos took battle to the Gates of Judgment, trumpeting the opening call of the conquest of the Tears. The 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, brought their distinctive sense of order and chaos to the assault. You went to battle alongside the army whose approach was best suited to your strengths. You crushed with the chaotic mass of the Scarlet Chorus, flanked the Bastard City's armies, and drove them to flee. At the mercy of the army unprepared for the mania and disorder of the Scarlet Chorus, your forces overwhelmed Tears' defenses in a few short hours, hacking and burning the city and burning their way into the continent. Any mercenaries who survived the battle found themselves initiated into the Scarlet Chorus, tortured by ruthless interrogators, and made the sport of competition as the army marched ruthlessly forward. I feel like I'm on the wrong side of this fucking war. Now what? Feeding the host. You found a way to feed Kairos' army in enemy territory. To judge the enemy, you decided the fate of enemy soldiers captured in battle. Defeating the host, against the most optimistic projections, the disfavored and the Scarlet Corps made short work of the locals' defenses. They did so well that the armies quickly outpaced their supply caravans. Troops were plentiful, but food was scarce. You only had time to execute one plan to secure provisions. Confiscate merchant caravans, pillage farmlands. You authorized disfavored troops to confiscate food and supplies from the traveling merchant caravans. The Tiers had already spent ignorant centuries gluttoning themselves outside of the Kyrus' law. After raiding the wagons of unsuspecting caravans and securing a day's worth of provisions and supplies, the disfavored found a cache of goods behind a hidden head. They confiscated potions and elixirs bound for secret contacts within the bastard city. The hall filled the disfavored larder with provisions for the following year, and denied the defenders of the bastard city supply that would be desperately needed in the siege to come. Taking the bastard city. The armies of Kyrus amassed around the bastard city, first bastion of the Tiers to fall. Both armies longed to storm the walled outpost, the Scarlet Corps howling for plunder, and the disfavored forming an unbreakable shield wall. Their prowess on the field of battle had carried them this far, but there was one more step before total victory. Both the armies had inspired schemes to support the bastard city. Which did you support? Assault on the main gates. Burning the city. Excuse me. What's the point of taking it if you're just going to trash it? Sabotage the city's defenses. They led a mixed band of disfavored and Scarlet Corps scouts over the city walls to sabotage its defenses. I see. Still seems like the best idea. Concealing shadows. Once per encounter. Yes. In a cloud of obscuring shadows and dust. For a short duration, enemies that use physical attacks against you have significantly increased chance to miss. During this time, your attacks will also be less effective. Well, that's Take the bastard city. Though it was challenging to earn the cooperation of both armies, their shared interest in taking down the city's defenses allowed your scouts to work as a single unit. Once your forces scaled the walls, a mixture of tactics and savagery destabilized the city guard, who quickly lost their command over the defenses and were forced to surrender. Lacking the support of archers or siege weapons, the bastard city fell quickly to Kyrus' superior might. Interesting. Intéressant, as they say en Quebec. The Bastard City, 2428 TR. Bastard City settled into a new state of normalcy, with every tower displaying Kyrus' banner. Your name was whispered alongside rumors of a decorated career to come. The armies divided into two fronts and migrated south. Tunon sent word that you were to join the next frontier of Kyrus' conquest, either as judge and overseer of the settlement of Lethian's Crossing, or as a war advisor, with the armies advancing into the realm of Apex. Interesting. Let's go to Apex. Year 2 of Kyrus' Conquest. Apex. The mountain nation of Apex, ruled for generations by the queens of House Vendrian, stood at the heart of the Tears. No army could bypass the landlocked realm without leaving their flank exposed to attack. Interesting. By the second year of the war, the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus had pushed deep into the Tears. Elements of both armies were dispatched to conquer Apex. Tunon assigned you to accompany them, tasked with bringing Kyros's law to the territory, as well as keeping an eye on both armies. Great. Right. So now I'm getting paid to do one job, and I'm actually doing two. This is just like fucking E10, you know that? What are our options, y'all? The Battle of Edgering Pass. The Archon of Stone assault was perhaps too successful. Or, Denial of Strength. A new school of mages presented problems and opportunities. Stone assault is perhaps I'm gonna go. Denial of Strength. A school of water mages loyal to the Tearsmen. I'm gonna sneeze. I think I beat it. No. A school of water mages loyal to the Tearsmen posed a substantial threat. The disfavored wished to annihilate the school, while the Scarlet Chorus insisted on capturing the mages wishing to learn of their craft. Now, how do you get mages to give up their secrets? If we could get those secrets, however, that would mean that we could then use them in future battles, making us stronger and making them weaker. Capture the mages. Denial of Strength. Though countless lives were lost in taking the mages into custody, the Scarlet Chorus praised your name as they dragged the beaten elders of the school to the voices of Narat's tent. As a wave of screams and incoherent pleas reached their crescendo, the Scarlet Chorus soldiers outside cheered for the Archon. The disfavored adjourned to their camp in grim silence, claiming the chorus lacked the will and desire to fully wipe out all traces of the enemy's school. Okay, so there's a little bit of division here now that we've created, and I gotta fix it. Which means this time I gotta go the other way, even if I don't like it. Or do I? Captain, Kyros's forces debated over the fate of an enemy captain, or poisoning the well. Poor communications led to the gruesome death of disfavored scouts. That doesn't work in my favor. Kyros's forces captured a celebrated enemy hero. The armies bickered over his fate. The disfavored wanted him set free to convince his peers of Kyros's mercy. The Scarlet Chorus wanted him flayed and staked as an example. throughout the siege, the Scarlet Chorus agents poisoned the Apex water supply in secret. Days later, uninformed, disfavored scouts died of illness. Outraged by the failure of communication, the disfavored demanded that the Chorus agents be turned over to them for punishment. Yeah. You upheld the charges, ordering the Scarlet Chorus agents delivered to the disfavored justice. Justice would be served, but at the risk of seeding discontent between the two armies. No, this is the best way to go. It's the right way to go. Scarlet Chorus protested the sanctioning of a beloved military tradition. Within weeks of hauling wagons, filling graves, and digging latrines, the tabitures fell sick themselves, dying of unattended wasting diseases, likely picked up from moving putrid bodies. The disfavored called it a fitting justice, and congratulated themselves for squeezing some honest labor out of the miserable wretches. You know, I kinda gotta agree with that. The fall of Apex. After many spans of battle, the army of Apex finally agreed to peace talks. The Queen herself agreed to attend the negotiation summit, and invited a representative of Tunon to discuss the possible terms. How did you negotiate the enemy's surrender? We're going to negotiate surrender, you know? What are you on about? Sorry about that. All right. Fall of Apex. Through days of mediation, you negotiate the surrender of the valley to Kyros's forces, putting an end to further bloodshed. Taunting the Queen of Apex into striking you under a banner of truce, you baited the Queen of Apex into a duel and slew her, fighting her vassals into submission. I do kind of like that. I mean, if you're going to lead the people, then surrender is the way. They won't trust their queen anymore, even if they still love her, because she gave up. You killed the queen. I don't know. Yeah. The fall of Apex. The Scarlet Chorus urged you to show the Overlord's strength by any means necessary. During peace talks, a well-placed insult goaded the Queen of Apex into striking you. You responded to the slight by challenging her to a duel. Though the Queen was skilled in battle, her field of expertise outmatched her court training. As her body lay cooling on the ground, you demanded that her followers kneel before the Overlord's banner. Unable to rise above the fear of the moment, the remaining leaders capitulated, surrendering to the Valley of Kyros's forces. Surrendering the Valley to Kyros's forces. Alright. The land of Apex finally rested in the hands of Kyros's forces. The Scarlet Chorus paused to revel in the victory while the disfavored prepared for the next fight, affording themselves but an evening's rest. Kyrus's armies radiated out of the conquered citadel and worked their way across the tiers. The disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus aimed to dominate as much territory as possible in the coming year. Your distinguished reputation in Kyrus's military left the choice of your next destination yours to make. Okay. Azure. Kyrus dispatched the Arch on Stone to subjugate the nation of Azure. With the easily defended position and rich military tradition, the realm of Stalwart was the most formidable realm in the tiers. Kyrus's conquering gaze fell upon the Vellum Citadel, its treasures, its knowledge, its secrets. You want to take out the army first. Yeah, we're going to take out the army first. Stalwart. The realm of Stalwart was best known for its proud army, disciplined, courageous, and undefeated on their home soil. Skill and resolve made Stalwart a military power that Kyrus's forces approached with due caution. With its southern position, Stalwart had been largely safe from war, watching for 2 years as its neighbors fell to Kyrus's forces. On the dawn of the 3rd year of war, Kyrus's forces were finally poised to invade the Stalwart Peninsula and subdue the tier's most vaunted army. Yeah, let's take them out before they learn too much about the way we fight. Marching on empty, tragedy struck when the hungry Scarlet Chorus soldiers appropriated disfavored supplies. Oh, pieces of shit. Conscientious setback. A stinging defeat led to accusations among Kyrus's army. Marching on empty, the stalwart defenders burned their crops as they retreated, leaving the invaders little to forage. Starving, the Scarlet Chorus mob raided from disfavor's well-maintained supply lines, incurring casualties on both sides. Punish the Scarlet Chorus, or the disfavored to share supplies. Kind of want to do both. Our options over here. A conscientious setback. After a defeat at the hands of enemy defenders, the Scarlet Chorus accused the disfavored of recklessness. The disfavored claimed the Scarlet Chorus brought too few soldiers to cover their flanks. Both armies refused to march until you gave a ruling. Oh, Jesus. Drama much? I'd rather go this way. I mean, they're not wrong. They shouldn't have raided. That'll do. Scarlet Chorus commanders argued that the Horde was starving. Being the largest of Kyrus's armies, they were also the least provisioned. The men were wrong to steal, but the disfavored were equally wrong to withhold supplies from their allies. They agreed with the Chorus's version of events and ordered that the disfavored supplies be shared. The thieves themselves would be punished with a loss of a hand and returned to the front lines. The disfavored found this a sickening aberration of justice and surrendered their supplies with grudging acceptance. Yeah, man, I don't like it either. I'm still gonna make it through this, right? More mages? Beasts of Stalwart. A new Scarlet Chorus tactic provoked disfavored rage. Jesus Christ. Better dead than red. A string of mass suicides led to the Scarlet Chorus making demands of the disfavored. Again. What did you guys do this time? Scarlet Chorus mages discovered a spell to turn beastmen slaves against their handlers. The army prepared to deploy this tactic elsewhere, but the disfavored protested. The use of unsanctioned magical practice ran contrary to Kairos' law, and the beastmen were considered too erratic to be relied upon, even as shock troops. Fair? Agree with the disfavored. That's our option over here. Better dead than red. Rather than submit to Scarlet Chorus conscription, conquered locals began committing suicide. Desperate to add more bodies to the horde, the Scarlet Chorus demanded a portion of disfavored prisoners. The disfavored denied the right of recruitment, as the realm's population had taken a steep decline. Fair enough. You guys on that one, and you guys on this one. And it helps resolve the food shortage too, if there are fewer Scarlet Chorus. You ban the Scarlet Chorus from recruiting a realm in the realm of Stalwart, going so far as notifying the locals to assuage their fears. This one. You agree with the disfavored argument and order the beastmen slain. Scarlet Chorus mages who discovered the trick were ordered to never use it again on pain of execution. That doesn't benefit us at all. This does. Because, at least in this way, we still get more soldiers. The other way, we just lose energy in the creation of assets that were destroyed. Edict of Storms. The disfavored carved a slow, steady path into the heart of Stalwart and surrounded the enemy's massive fortress. With the main bulk of their forces defeated, the enemy leadership retreated to their mighty fortress, content to wait out the war. The Overlord answered this impudence with an Edict of Storms on the peninsula, a devastating spell that would endure for as long as the cowardly hearts of the Stalwart leaders persisted in beating. There will be a storm for as long as you live. That's nice. Pleased by your efforts, Tunan deemed you the proper representative to deliver Kairos' edict. Aside from being given a 3-day window to read the edict, you received no other instructions. Interesting. Edict of Storms. Give no warning. Warn the people. In an attempt to ingratiate themselves with the people of Stalwart, the Scarlet Chorus insisted that the warning be sent to the towns and villages, so that the people may prepare for the horror about to descend on them. Agreeing with the wishes of the disfavored, you proclaimed the edict at once, leaving the enemy no time to react. Stalwart had ample opportunities to surrender for several years. The time for mercy was long gone. No shit. If we warn them, they have time to prepare. We agree with the disfavored rationale. The leaders of the stalwart have refused honorable battle, and too many disfavored lives were lost in the campaign. Since the last regent refused to leave the keep, you would let them watch as his people suffered. Without hesitation or regret, you broke the seal of Kyros's Edict of Storms and read the Overlord's incantation. The clear skies darkened as you read the final words of the edict. A flurry of wind and rain whipped through the rolling plains, and craggy canyons turning the rocks, uprooted trees, and hapless soldiers into hazardous shrapnel. Armed with a measure of foresight, you were able to remove yourself from the area before the storms grew more violent. Over time, nearby communities told of cyclones consisting of thousands of soldiers' worth of limbs, spears, armor, and skulls that were... What's more, the weather showed no sign of dissipating. Several units of disfavored who fought the enemy in spite of the advancing storm were caught up in the Overlord's magic. A few survivors regrouped and nursed their wounds. Their failure to topple the stalwart legions shamed them into believing the dead more. Yeah. So if the name Stalwart fell from use, people took to calling it the Blade Grave. For the remade land stood festooned with the iron and bronze armaments of two once great legions. As Kyros's forces departed, you spared a glance back at the ruins of Stalwart, marveling at your work. You didn't have long to rest before Tunin called you to service once more. I might have gone the other way. We could have saved the city. It's nice to have a shrine of destruction, though. Let's continue. We've got enough of that for today. I can always create a new game if I want to try other options. Spells are created from both core and expression sigils. Core sigils determine the type of magic, fire, healing, etc., while expression sigils determine the shape, touch, or a bolt. Okay? That's cool. Is that blood pouring out of there, though? Is that a blood fountain? That seems ill-advised. I mean, if you're using mostly water, or just coloring it with a little bit of blood, that's probably a little more energy efficient, right? Talking about the statue here, just,
The year is 431, and Kyros's invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle or bowed in surrender. The two armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior,
thanks,
we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault.
What's going on, man?
With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance. But months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers.
These headphones drive me nuts.
The Overlord is not amused, and Kairos has one message for the Archons: crush the Oathbreakers or die. Kairos backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons.
Right, that last one was violent, right? I'm still unclear as to what side of this story I'm supposed to be on.
As you finally make your way
on the
through the
wrong side.
winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you.
Nice. Locked in, bro.
You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
All right. All right, we're actually into some fucking gameplay. Interesting. Welcome to Terrace. If this is your first visit to the world of Tyranny, watch for these windows to help you become more familiar with the game. You can disable the tutorial in the game options menu. The Overlord be praised. Aurora? The Overlord be praised. When I heard the avalanche, I feared the valley was sealed, with you on the other side. The disfavored warrior claps her gauntlet to a breastplate, a traditional salute for her legion. This switch code gives me the rest of the story. Anyway. That's a lot of bodies staked up there. Full on crash. Well, let's see here. Get that booted back up. Might as well take a little break in the meantime. I'll be right back.